drone count, but I do have the second expansion just about to be finished. Looking at the army, oh, the APM. My APM is a little bit higher than usual this game, and I only expect it to get higher as I progress. Now, looking at the army, my army is quite formidable. I have two Hydras, a Roach, and a group of Zerglings going on, and I'm going to go ahead and micro up my second base as I can. And at this point, he's getting another second base at this top expansion. That way, if I scout here, I'll be like, oh, I still have the advantage over him. But in the end, he still has this expansion right here. I go ahead, capture the Zelnega, so I can go ahead and see if he's coming. And he still just has Zerglings at this point. While I do have more superior units in my group. But yeah, yes, he does have a Hydra Den down. He's gonna go ahead and probably make a bunch of those. He still does not have a Roach Warren down and no Spire coming up or anything like that, so nothing tricky. He's gonna go ahead and try to get into my base with these quick Zerglings, but he sees this Roach and he sees the opportunity to get us around on the single Roach. Little does he know that I have this entire army here, and he's just gonna end up losing all of his Zerglings again, and not one single loss for me. So if you go to units lost, he's almost doubled my units lost in resources at this point. So this is very good lead for me at this point. He does get this expansion down, but he is not saturating these minerals at this point. I'm just gonna try to do a little bit of scouting around, see what he's doing on the map, and let's see here. I do have my extra. I'm just macroing up my units. If you look at the army, my army is much higher than him, and he's also supply locked because I took down some of his overlords, so delaying him even further. Uh, I don't want to go ahead and just hump my own horn and say that I'm a good player, but good players usually go ahead and try to nurture their advantages just to make sure keep their opponents down as long as they can so they can secure their victory. And I realize that he has the high ground here, so I'm going to go ahead and back out and group up with the rest of my units. Now, I have a bunch of Zerglings, four Hydralisks over his group of Hydralisks, but then I have five Roaches as well, and Roaches are very good against Hydralisks, and I don't notice them until about right now. And I go ahead and just focus fire down all of his Hydralisks as I can, with minimal losses on my part. And I go ahead and just continue to beat down these rocks so that I can make another opening to his base. And I still don't realize this as expansion up here, but he still hasn't done anything with it. He's just making 3 drones now. And at this point, I have a little bit of saturation here. And I have 24 drones to his 19 drones now, so he hasn't really progressed in the economy. And I have a third expansion down because I figured, what the hell, I have some extra minerals anyways. And go ahead with this single Hydralisk, get down this Overlord. He does not have the speed upgrade for them yet. And this group of Hydralisks trumps my skeleton group of units. So I go ahead and back out there, but I have some extra roaches because they're so good against Hydralisk. And I'm now working on my third expansion, saturating those mineral patches a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and get those 2 extractors, yes, right now. And yes. Now I have 14 roaches versus a 7 Hydralisks. That is a sure win no matter what way you look at it. So I have a pretty fair lead at this point. Looking at income, it's almost about twice as much as his. My army is just a little bit bigger than his. And I'm just trying to keep my control around here, and I realize that he might have an expansion up here. He's just getting it started, and I scout it and go ahead and take it down very quickly. And I'm not exactly sure why, but he's gonna go ahead and evolve his carapace. And the defenses are good, but usually players go ahead and try to get the attack bonuses, but I can't really say anything because I don't have any upgrades yet, and I have just got my Evo chamber down. Probably should have went ahead. Oh, no, I don't have any Hydralisk, so yeah, I couldn't do anything against those overlords if I wanted to. I'm just gonna go ahead and macro up my army a little bit as he is ahead of me at this point, and I'm thinking his only chance at this point is to try go ahead and attack my units, but still, if we look at the income, yes, I'm more than twice uh, his income at almost 3 times as much of his income at this point. So yes, I know I won't. Actually, I probably could win this if I got these roaches up a lot closer than that, and I realized that, so I'd go ahead and try to do that. I lost those overlords. Doesn't really mean much though, because I have such a surplus, and they actually do make pretty good tanks versus Hydralisk. And I lose that battle. Try to group my forces. I'm not really sweating at this point because I know I have the advantage. So I just group my get a little bit of Hydralisk with some roaches, very good supplements to each other, and he backs out, knowing that I probably have a force coming on. Gonna go ahead and come across this map. I like to keep the overlords grouped up with my units for some high ground sight, and they do work as some pretty good tanks. They have 200 HP, and these units have 80, 145, and all that. They don't attack, but they do make good tanks. If you can afford to have more than, if you can afford to lose them and you don't get supply locked. And at this point, I'm running off of 3 lucrative bases. I'm very comfortable in my position right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to nurture my advantage a little bit. My army is a little bit better than his. He does have a lot of Hydralisks with 2 armor upgrades. Not sure why he's doing. He's finally getting some attack upgrades. Well, I'm just researching my attack and armor upgrades. Just gonna go ahead and mess up my troops as much as I can. He does have a lot of Hydralisks, but I do have a lot of roaches to counter that. And now he's just gonna go ahead and try to look around, see if anything's coming, see if he can just continue to try to tech up or macro up some armies or whatever. At this point, his minerals are very low, and yes, it looks like he's pretty much lost it at this point. But he is gonna go ahead and scout this third expansion and take it down very quickly. Now, whenever you're using ranged units like Hydralisk and trying to kill something, you should always move them up closer so that all of them can attack at the same time, and they'll be grouped up together. Like I do here, well, my roaches should be in front, but when I group them up like this and move them extremely close, they're all able to attack at the same time, which makes quick work of that group of Hydralisks that he has. Killed them very quickly that way. Just all the little things count in order to give you that advantage in every fight. It's just good micro and all that. And I go ahead and try to see if he has this gold. I know the destructible rocks are still there, so he doesn't have it. And I just basically know that I've won. I'm about to attack, and he knows that he lost. So at this point, I think he just goes ahead and quits, which is actually, yeah, he goes ahead and quits, and this is very anticlimactic for me, the player, and you, the viewer. But that's just the way things go. People are sore losers sometimes, but a lot of the time a sore winner as well. And I just go in here and see how quickly I could have beat him, just to get a little bit of satisfaction. And it's not satisfying at all because nothing's fighting back. And I just go ahead and quit, and I enjoy my win. And thank you for watching. I hope you learned a little bit from this. If anybody has any advice to give me at all, I'd very much appreciate it, as I am a new player, and I do strive to get better as much as I can. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.